Hello students, and welcome. Today we are going to dive into a very important topic in organic chemistry, the nomenclature and structure of carboxylic acids. We will explore what they are, how we can name them, and most importantly, what makes them so special. So let's begin.
Let's start with something from your own kitchen, vinegar. We all know it has a sour taste and a sharp smell. And from our school science classes, we remember that it's an acid, right? It turns blue litmus paper red. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? What is it, chemically, inside the vinegar that makes it behave like an acid?
Well, the secret is in its molecular structure. That sour taste, the positive litmus test, it all comes down to one particular part of the molecule, a functional group called the carboxyl group. If you can understand this one group, you will unlock this entire topic.
So what exactly is this carboxyl group? Let's look at it closely. The interesting thing is it's not something completely new. It's actually a clever combination of two functional groups that you probably already know.
At the simplest level, just imagine this. You take a carbonyl group, that is, a carbon atom with a double bond to an oxygen. And then you take a hydroxyl group, an OH group. Now, if you attach both of these groups to the very same carbon atom, what you get is a hybrid. And this hybrid is what we call the carboxyl group, or COOH. So, to give you the formal exam-safe definition, the carboxyl group is an organic functional group consisting of a carbonyl group, which is C double bond O, bonded directly to a hydroxyl group, which is OH. It is simply the combination we just discussed.
Now, this brings us to the most important question of all. We know it's a mix of a carbonyl and a hydroxyl. But why does this specific combination make the molecule acidic? There must be a deeper reason, a secret behind its special nature. Let's find out what that is. You see, in chemistry, the strength of an acid isn't just about its ability to give away a proton, an H+ ion. The real story is about how stable the molecule is after that proton is gone. When a carboxylic acid donates its proton, what's left behind is called the conjugate base. In this case, it's the carboxylate ion. The stability of this ion is the real key to everything. To understand this idea of stability, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine a couple that has to split up. Now, if they agree to share the responsibility equally between them, the whole situation becomes much more stable and manageable. But if one person has to carry the entire burden, it's very unstable. This idea of sharing is exactly what happens inside the carboxylate ion.
Let's compare this to an alcohol. When an alcohol loses a proton, it forms something called an alkoxide ion. Here, the negative charge is stuck. It is localized on just one single oxygen atom. This is like one person taking all the burden. It is very unstable. But look at the carboxylic acid. When it loses its proton, the carboxylate ion that is formed can share the negative charge between two oxygen atoms, and this sharing makes the ion incredibly stable.
This special ability to share the negative charge has a very important name. It's called resonance. The charge is not stuck in one place, it is delocalized, meaning it's spread out over both oxygen atoms. This delocalization makes the carboxylate ion extremely stable. And because the ion it forms after losing a proton is so stable, the original carboxylic acid is very happy to give up that proton. And that, right there, is the secret to its acidity.
Okay, so now that we know why they are acidic, let's build a clear picture of a carboxylic acid molecule in our minds. This will also help us to understand the rules for naming them according to the IUPAC system. Let's use these rules to name the molecule that is in vinegar. Okay, step 1. We identify the longest carbon chain. In this case, it has 2 carbon atoms. Simple. Step 2. We add the carboxylic group to it. And here is a very important rule to remember. The carbon of the carboxylic group is always counted as carbon number 1. Step 3. What is the parent alkane for a 2-carbon chain? It's ethane. And finally, step 4. We modify the name. We drop the final E from ethane and we add the suffix oic acid. So what do we get? Ethanoic acid. This is the formal IUPAC name for acetic acid, which is the main component of vinegar.
Now let's connect all this theory back to the real world. How does this structure and stability explain things that we can actually see and use? Remember the vinegar turning litmus red? Well, that happens because the H+ ion is released. And why is it released so easily? Because the leftover part, the acetate ion, is very, very stable, thanks to resonance. And this is not just in the kitchen. In technology, a compound called benzoic acid is used as a food preservative. Its acidic COOH group is very good at disrupting the cells of microbes, which stops food from spoiling. You see? The same fundamental principle is at work everywhere. Now let's address a very common point of confusion. You might be thinking, but sir,
alcohols also have an OH group, so why are they not acidic at all? This is an excellent question, and it really gets to the heart of why molecular structure is so important in chemistry.
Before I give you the reason, just look at this number. 10,000 times. This is roughly how much more acidic a typical carboxylic acid is when you compare it to a typical alcohol. This is not a small difference. It is a massive, massive difference in their chemical properties.
So the crucial point is this. The key difference is the carbonyl group, that C double bond O, which is right next to the OH. This C double bond O is what allows for that resonance stabilization after the proton leaves. Alcohols have an OH group, yes, but they are missing that neighboring C double bond O. No carbonyl group means no resonance, which means no stability for the conjugate base and therefore no real acidity. It is as simple as that.
All right, let's quickly recap everything we've learned. If you can remember these next few points, you will have a very solid understanding of this topic for your exams.
First, the core idea. A carboxyl group is simply a hybrid, a mixture of a carbonyl and a hydroxyl group on the same carbon. Second, the secret to its acidity. It all comes down to the resonance stability of the carboxylate ion that is formed. Just remember our splitting couple analogy, where sharing the responsibility brings stability. And third, the everyday link. This entire theory perfectly explains why vinegar is sour and behaves like an acid.
Seriously, just focus on these 3 points: the structure, the reason for its acidity, and one real-world example. If you have these 3 pillars clear in your mind, this topic will feel so much lighter and so much easier when you see it in your exams.
So I will leave you with a final thought to think about. We have focused today on the acidic nature which comes from the OH part of the group. But don't forget, it also has a C double bond O part. So now that you know why they're acidic, what other amazing reactions do you think this unique hybrid structure allows for? Think about it. We will explore that in our next session.